The question I always get at this point is, okay, so you had a pretty interesting career in, both in business and in science. So why on God's green earth did you get into politics, especially the way it's practiced in the U.S. today? And so my quick answer to this is that I tragically fell prey to the family's recessive gene for adult onset political activism. This is something that actually runs in my family. My father was also a scientist. He got a chemistry degree from Stanford, and during World War II he designed fire control computers for the Navy. And most of the way through the war started getting these reports of how many people had been killed by his team's equipment, this week, and became very unhappy with the idea that his technical skills were being used to kill people. And so he came back from the war and thought about it for a while. He had grown up in the South and saw civil rights as the moral challenge of his generation. And so he came back from the war and decided to become a civil rights lawyer. He, like me, walked away from his career in science. He became a civil rights lawyer and ended up writing a lot of the enforcement language behind the Civil Rights Act of 1964. One of the greatest steps forward for human rights in our country's existence. And so it was actually reading his papers after he passed away a little more than a decade ago that I started thinking about this fundamental question of what fraction of your life you spend in service to your fellow man. This is a question that everyone has to answer, and it is a question, turns out, that science is no help at all in helping you answer. It's just you have to look at the spirit inside you and why you think you were put on earth. And so it was, like I say, after reading his papers that I started thinking about this and decided to spend part of my life in service to my fellow man, which is what eventually dragged me to Congress.